Welcome to Fangirl Diaries. This is your fangirl host with the most, Danny. And let's get into today's entry. Oh my God, Lilia, we have mood lighting for this episode. Oh my God, it fits perfectly. And the noise from the heater gives it that ASMR aesthetic, which is extra sexy in my book because I like ASMR. Is that helping you get into the mood? So this is going to be a long one. I want to point out it's 12 episodes and then 2 special episodes, right? The 2 special episodes have a separate description that I'm going to do before we talk about the special episode. And it's funny because when I do my notes for these shows, I always skip over the sex scenes because I'm like, I'll remember them as I read my notes along. There were so many that it gets to a point where I'm reading my notes and then like a thing happens. And then I'm like, wow, we jump really far. And then I'm like, why do we jump? It's because it's like a 5-minute sex scene. These two go at it. And then there's the whole, we're doing my stubborn, with Lilia's scared about, right, Lilia?
Very.
It's an interesting show. It's what, you know what's funny? Because I was going to bring this up later, but it's what I think people think heated rivalry is. Because everyone's like, oh, heated rivalry is just porn without plot. Or like it's just a porn with like a small plot. Like, oh, everyone talks about the sex scenes. But like realistically, I feel like more people lately have talked, now that we've gotten past the like, oh my God, about the sex scenes, we talk more about the plot and the romance and everything aspect of it. Whereas with this show, I haven't seen many people talk about the plot. Although I think it's pretty good. It's just not super well written. It could have been better. So let's get this started. Me looking over this because last night I was reading the synopsis for this last night once I got my notes, and I could have sworn in one version of the synopsis it claimed that the main character was a high school student, which if that was the case, that would have been fucked up for this whole series. He's not. He's in college, technically. He's in college. He's like a college intern, so I guess like he's not in, or he's like graduating college but doing like an internship type thing. But I was like, whoa, the mistranslation. Luckily that wasn't from my drama list, so... June, a mischievous intern, an expert in pushing people's buttons, and Sorn, a composed, orderly man who absolutely can't stand kids like him, have been at odds since the day they met. From sneaking salt into toothpaste to hiding personal belongings, June's endless pranks have made Sorn loathe him to the core. But fate has a sense of humor. When June unexpectedly runs into Sorn in an unusual situation, what starts as awkward and soon becomes the beginning of a complicated connection. The man who once firmly declared, "I don't like kids," finds himself slowly stirred by unfamiliar emotions. From conflict to closeness, the line between annoyance and affection begins to blur. None of this made sense to the plot. I want to point that out. This is like the synopsis for the pilot they released. Because I want to point out, I've watched the show like 10 times. I don't think June has, it's alluded he plays pranks, but we've seen the other guy play more pranks. And I know that there's no mention of the second couple at all. I also don't like that they keep mentioning that he's a kid. He's like maybe a few years younger. Like at most 5. Oh, you know what it is? I saw the high school one. I saw the high school description on the actual streaming app that it's on iQIYI. It said high school student. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? That doesn't make any sense. I think the first time they have an encounter in the beginning, he might have just graduated high school. I'm not really sure because they don't really, they specify ages in the first episode. I think the main character is supposed to be like 24 and I think Sorn's supposed to be like 32. You want to know why that's wild, though? Because the actors, their names are Boat and Oat, right? Boat is the top one. He's a little bit taller. Oat is like the bottom. He's shorter. Oat is a year older than him. Boat's younger, and he's playing the older character. Yeah, it's because he's the top. Okay, that's why.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's taller.
So the top has to be older?
No, but in this scenario, that's why he's the top. Because he's older. I don't...
What if the older one wants to be the bottom?
I mean, there are scenarios like that, but I feel like in this situation, it's because he's older. He's like more... I don't know, okay? BLs are weird, but also he's tiny. Oat is tiny. He's like a little baby. You want to see a picture of him? Here, let me show you. And then this is how Lilia will understand what I mean. So this is Boat, and that's Oat. This is them on the show. So I will say, Lilia, this is not a show you can watch because you could watch it because there's a YouTube edited version of it that cuts out all those parts. The very first scene in the first episode, I hate that I'm going to explain this, but whatever. Boat's character, so Sorn is they're all so Sorn, June, Champ and Tai and Win, those are all the characters' names that I care about. They're all at Win and Tai's family's like vacation home or whatever it is, and they're all hanging out, right? It's a nice home, and they're all about to have lunch. So they send June to go find Sorn. Sorn is in the garden beating some flowers. I didn't want to say the other word because then it's obvious. And it cuts to, so he's having a little bit of excitement in the garden in front of the poor koi fish who didn't deserve that. And then it keeps cutting. This is what drives me crazy with the scene. It cuts to the kitchen when they're cooking. And you know those things that they do to beat spices together? Like you'll put an onion and you'll beat it so that you can put like other spices and stuff, mix it in. They keep cutting back and forth to Sorn and that to show what they're doing. Yeah. The show is crazy. I will also say the second couple, as much as I liked them, I also did not care for them as much as I cared for the first couple. It was very weird. So I also want to point out, so the one who plays Tai, his name is Yoon. He was in another pairing with another actor who I keep hearing conflicting things, and if someone in the comments wants to clear it up for me, or I'll look it up after this. I just didn't have the energy to look it up for this. He was in a show called Unforgettable Night. I've watched it a couple of times. I've dropped it though. I've never finished it. I keep dropping that one a lot. But he is in he was in a pairing with the actor in that show for a while. Then I think either he left the company or the other one left the company, and then he was put in a new pairing in this show. The actor's name is Poon Poon, and I feel like I keep hearing that he's actually dating the other actor that he was in a pairing with. I'm not 100% sure. So I think that's why it's kind of funny how like when it comes to like Sorn and Jun, we see them go at it. But with Tai and Champ, the few sex scenes they have, we really don't see anything. It's like we see like a shadow in the background or something like that. So, which is okay. But you know what's crazy about this too? In the beginning of this entire series, they're all like, oh, we're best friends. We're just friends. Homeboy is like his wife. The entire time, Lilia. It's like literally in the, like after this, in the second episode, he's seen literally like at, Tai and Win, it's like breakfast table. They're all having breakfast and they're talking, and the way that he's motioning, I'm like, dude, you're his wife. The entire time they're like, oh, they're friends. We're friends. Everyone can see they were together, and then it took the last episode for them to finally have the conflict of like, you don't see me as a relationship. You see me as just your friend. You treat me like everyone else, dude. You guys like literally fucked like 2 episodes ago. What the fuck are you talking about? You guys have made out like a bunch of times on this show. I'm so confused. What is happening? Like, why did it take another dude flirting with you to finally have this conversation? You guys have been basically dating since the first fucking episode. Try again. Communication, everybody, is the most important thing in a relationship, which is what everyone in the series could learn. But no, so you know what messed me up about the series? I'm assuming this is a Thai thing or like a thing over their relationships. I don't know if that's a thing here. At least with gay relationships or like LGBT relationships, but like there were literally many moments in the show with the subtitles. It would mix where so like Sorn's brother, Sorn and June at one point go visit Sorn's brother and mother in the countryside in this big house, and they're walking into the house and June is like, oh my God, this whole place, because it's a big mansion. He's like, oh my God, this place is all your mother's. And then Sorn is like, yeah, you want to be her daughter-in-law? I'm like, wait a minute, huh? And then there were many points where it's like they like Tai goes, you're my wife, so Champ. And it's like, and I can't remember who I spoke about this, how that's like, I guess, a thing over there, where instead of using husband or boyfriend, like it's wife's daughter-in-law, and they'll use the opposite sex one, even though they're like a same sex couple. So it really threw me off a lot because I would literally be watching the show, and even the descriptions, instead of saying he, it will say she. Like, there's an entire subplot. And I'm jumping around because this show is, I want to point out, what drove me nuts about this show is that this show is an hour long. It is an hour long each episode. There's 2 special episodes we're going to talk about later. One of them was an hour and 10 minutes long. This is 12 episodes. That's like 12 episodes, 2 special episodes. That's 14 hours of a series. Okay, there's a lot of things you could cut out. It was just like, the background characters felt like furniture for me at many points. Like, they kind of were just like there, and they really didn't add enough to the plot, or like they were just there to add like context to what's going on, where I felt like we didn't need it. Like, I'm not kidding. One point they're talking about, they're all hanging out, and it's June and 2 other interns whose names I didn't even bother remembering. And the girl one, she's like a shipper or some shit. I don't know what the fuck. But she at many points was like, Penny and Sorn must be together because look at them. She's so pretty, blah, blah, blah. I bet they're together. And it's like, no, we could see that without her having to mention that. We didn't need her to like bring that up for June to feel all sad, because we can see that with our eyeballs. She was like, not necessary. They have like 2. And what really frustrated me about that is that you had these 2 extra intern characters. One who just kept mentioning this stuff a lot. But then you also had 2 gossiping characters. So it's like, we didn't need both. You could have made the other 2 June's friends, but that also wasn't necessary because June had friends. He had like a friends with benefit type that he was kind of seeing. He had Win, he had Champ, he had Ty. Like, we didn't need to add more friends to his like circle of friendship type thing. It was just so unnecessary. Also, the friends with benefit that he had was another thing that I was like, I'll give the show this. So the whole point of this show is that Sorn and June have known each other for a while, and June has kind of, it's like him growing up. It's him kind of figuring out who he is and what he likes and things like that. And then dealing with, working, interning at an office and having to bump in and having to work with the one man who kind of gave him this awakening. Because we find out like the beginning scene where because you remember how I told you that we open with Sorn kind of helping himself? So the big thing about that scene that everyone talks about is the fact that June goes to find him and catches him and then gets excited, right? And then Sorn catches him watching him because June's a little pervert because he does this like a couple times in the show where he watches people. He's a little pervert. And then Sorn is like, why don't I show you what it's like? And he like helps June. And what's kind of crazy is that this poor boy is innocent because he has a girlfriend. He mentions it in the scene that he has a girlfriend. But this is what gets him to like have an awakening of like, oh, I must like men. And then as we go on, it turns out he has a friend with benefits who's also a bottom because he's a top in this case. And then the reason why I feel like the way we discussed them being tops and bottoms earlier was like so not it. But I'm like not sure how to describe it. Also because I'm a girl, so we don't do tops and bottoms. We're always the bottoms. Oh yeah, so he hangs out with his friends with benefit after meeting up with Sorn again, and like he tells his friend, I think I might want to be the bottom. These are word for word what he says, or at least for the most part. And his friend's like, what? We've been flirting for months and I haven't even gotten that far with you and now you're a bottom? I'm like, damn, my guy, you should have hit that quicker. What were you doing? It's so crazy. This show is like a mess. This show is a fun mess to watch. This is a show you watch when you just want to fuck around and watch something silly. This is what I mean by like, this is what people think heated rivalry is, but isn't. Like, you could watch this if you want to watch a show that has like really silly sex scenes. It's just you're here for the heat of it, all of that, like the eroticism of it. This is what you watch because there is a plot. There is an office plot. I'm not explaining it well because it's not really done well, but there's a plot. And it's nice. And they get together at the end and it's cute and it's sweet. And once they fix up their mess, it's a lot better. It could have been better. All I know is that I really hope that their next series is a lot better, because if not, I'm going to be really sad. Because the next show they're doing actually looks really good. So, I also want to point out, I did not understand, and it took me a while to understand how they were all friends. Because I understood that Jun and Win were friends. And then Win is Ty's brother. And then Champ obviously is close with Win, and he's also close. They're also close with Sorn. So they're all kind of like hanging out with each other here and there. Because there are times where I kept forgetting that Win was his brother. I was like, what is happening? So that was another thing that got to me. It's like the story writing. Like it could have been, should have been a little bit better. There are parts of it that I was like, There's also a subplot where he like June starts flirting with a DoorDasher guy, a delivery guy. It's not DoorDash, but that's the best way I can explain it. And Sorn gets really jealous, but then he doesn't know how to explain his jealousy, so he does stupid shit to like mess with him. And it's like, my guy, do better. You're not helping the situation. Then poor June also, when he's trying to explore himself, starts messing with the owner of a club. And I'm just like, this poor boy is just trying to figure himself out. I need everyone to stop messing with this poor boy. He needs to figure himself out. He needs to be there for himself. I will also say all the sex scenes in the show were kind of crazy. There's like, let me tell you something. The title for this episode is literally going to be called "Where is HR?" Because they be doing it in the bathroom and the staircase. That bathroom has seen some shit, Lilia. Most of the sex scenes in this show happen in a bathroom or a staircase. Lilia's flabbergasted. Listen, I'm trying to get through this one as quick as possible just for your baby ears. But then you got to edit this later, so you're still going to hear it again and again and again. So, because there are a lot of points I want to get to, but I feel like I need to get to some of the other ones first before I get to the other ones. Especially the main, like, the big reveal that's really dumb. So let's see. Oh, I will say the dumbest subplot that I was like, yo, can we... It was for the drama, but we could have had, like, not as many scenes. Could have been quick. Could have been all in one go. So there's a character name. What the fuck was his name? Nut or some shit? Not Nut. It was Perth. I can't fucking remember. But he's like the, I guess, the office fuckboy in a sense. Because homeboy, I say this because the first time we see him is when he's showing the interns around. But the second time we see him is in that infamous staircase. June, this is where you know June is a pervert. He catches him making out with another guy, which is like not a big deal, until you find out that he has a girlfriend. Oh. And until you find out that apparently he's always been cheating on said girlfriend with multiple people. And it's caused his girlfriend, who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you are with a person and they're constantly cheating at you, right? And you know they're constantly cheating on you to the point where you become a psycho bitch, maybe that's when you kind of just stop. Like, do better for yourself, okay? Because homegirl, I want to point out, so there's a scene where they go to this cafe. I want to point out there's 2 kid actors in this show, and every time I see them pop up, I'm always like, why are you here? These roles could have been good for those intern characters that kind of just don't really do much with the plot, in my opinion, than having 2 children here. So they go to this cafe to get coffee. It's where everyone goes gets coffee, right? And Win is with Pert and they're chatting. And then his girlfriend shows up. And June is like, oh, this is your girlfriend? How could you ever end up with someone as pretty as her, being nice and shit? But his girlfriend clearly is having like a moment of like, suspicious. Like, are you doing it with her, with him, with June, right? And then the guy that was making out with in the staircase ends up coming up because he's like about to walk into the cafe, spots all of them, and then runs off. Homegirl was about to chase him. Like, I get it. You know what? He must have known Perth had a girlfriend, and that was wrong of him. But homegirl, you're the one who keeps going back to him. Stop going back to him. So then we cut to 2, like, I think it's like this happens 2 episodes later, which is what pissed me off, that it took this long to get to this plot point. So Sorn and June like spent a night together to the point where Sorn kind of gives June all these like hickeys. Like, they're red marks. They're like very visible, not hideable. But it's part of the plot. So he's hanging out again with Perth. They're going to go eat lunch and they're making jokes. And it's very much like a buddy, not like that's, he's hooking up with June type thing, right? So the hickeys, Lilia. No, they're like all over homeboy. Like Sorn went crazy. That's another point. But to finish up the storyline, right? So she sees, it's not even her. Her friends see the two of them hang out, take photos of them because he's like being all buddy with him, being all like nice because he's younger, right? So they send the photos to her saying, oh, look, he's cheating on her again. Mind you, they're in a public setting having lunch while on their break, which I get doesn't like help the fact that he also was cheating on her with the other guy in the staircase during workouts, but besides the point there, at least in public. She comes and starts swinging at poor June, literally like trying to hit him, yanks open his shirt, and then sees all the like hickeys and is like, you did this, you're sleeping with my man, blah, blah, blah. Like, honey, no one wants your man. The only one who wanted your man is that other man who, to be honest with you, should have more self-esteem for himself. Like, stand up. So Sorn has to run in and like, because again, at least the other interns did something for once. Went to go get Sorn and was like, you have to like help him, blah, blah, blah. And he basically admits that he was the one that did it, but in a way that like, when you can tell like if your coworker says something to you, but you think it's a lie, or at least in your way, they're lying to save face. That's basically what he does, even though he technically wasn't lying because, he is hooking up with June or whatever. But I'm just like, girly pop. At some point, you have to realize it's not worth it. You look like a fucking psycho. You will now forever be known as the psycho chick who like wouldn't leave her boyfriend after he cheated on you like 10 times. Admittedly. And you're that paranoid. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Have some self-respect for yourself. Anyway, that was like the other like plot point that I was like, this could have been shortened to like a footnote, half an episode. Didn't need to be 3 episodes of wait to complete in the middle with all the other plot points. I will say, so they go to see Sorn and Sorn's mom. June tags along because Sorn. This is my thing with Sorn. He's Sorn. Sorn. I wish I could say it the way they do it in Thai. It's like I've been hearing it all week and I still can't say it. He very clearly has feelings for June, but he won't admit it because of his whole situation, which I'm gonna get to. But homeboy acts like a boyfriend. He had him move in with him. He's always getting him food, picking him up. He gave him Balenciaga shoes. Balenciaga. He bought him an expensive t-shirt. He's always teasing him, hanging out with him. They're always making out. He literally, I will say the main plot of this series that I realized I never got to is that, so it's just crazy that we're doing this 30 minutes in, but I guess it's relevant now. So Sorn, June is very inexperienced with sex. Aren't we all? So there are many scenes, flashbacks that we see of them two kind of having moments. Like there's a scene where they flash back to the first episode of when they were at a club and June is messing with this girl and it turns out the girl drugged him to steal his wallet. Drugged him with enhancement downstairs drugs, if you know what I mean. Like Viagra basically, but worse. So Sorn tries to help him out because nothing's working, to get it to stop. And, we flash back to like present day, right? And Sorn is now realizing that, he hadn't been told that June had started dating men until that moment, or until they like started working together in the same internship. And he corners June and was like, are you dating men because of me? And he basically admits that, yeah, because of the moments that they have, it made him realize that he wasn't as integral as he thought. And Sorn kind of takes that to his advantage because he's basically like decides that, he's too inexperienced. Like they have a moment again in a club, in a bathroom, because they, for some reason in the show, love to make out and do things in the bathrooms, where he starts messing with some guy and it turns out the guy has a boyfriend, and he gets beat up. And then Sorn takes June home, quote unquote saves him, takes him a minute to save him. I'm not joking you, takes him back to his place, because he's drunk out of his mind. And I'm going to say this right now, I hate when they do the scenes where like one character gets really, really drunk, they still have sex, make out, whatever, and then the next day the character that was intoxicated is like fine with it. because I think it's weird. I don't think that's not consent. That's not cool, but whatever. It happens way too often in these shows. He uses that to his advantage to basically tell June that he's a bad kisser and that he's going to take him under his wing as a student and teach him all the right ways to do stuff and he's not allowed to do it with anyone else until he graduates from his program. And it's like fucked up because up until like maybe halfway through the series, he's still messing with Penny in front of June's face, like picking her up. It doesn't really assure him. And it's like, okay, you're in a situationship, that's fine. But it's very clear that he's still very young. He's still very inexperienced, naive. And you're taking the student's advantage. Just not right. So it's like too many scenes of them just like having sex as a way or like making out. Like literally like the episode after they agree to like do this whole student teacher thing, they go into the office together because like June had stayed in the office. And stayed at his place overnight. They go to the office and his lip is bruised because he got hit. And he legit Sorn's like in many points when they're alone together is like, let me kiss you. Which would be sweet if not for the fact that he's basically taking advantage of this boy, doesn't want to admit his feelings because very clearly he has feelings because of his whole anxiety over dating someone younger. So like the big twist that we find out when they all go to visit Sorn's home is that the reason why he doesn't like dating who he sees as kids, who are kids, people younger than him, is because I guess when he was in high school, when he was older, right? So maybe like the gist would be like maybe he was 18, 19, something like that, right? He was seeing a girl who was a little bit younger than him, maybe a few years. So not like from what it's established, right? Because no one really says the ages for the scene. It's very clear that you can kind of put Romeo and Juliet law on this, which I don't know if they have it in Thailand, where it's like as long as they started dating when both were minors and they're not too many years apart, it's not like it's not seen as like what is it, the word I'm looking for? Not wrong, but like it's not like legally wrong. Like it's fine legally, right? I don't know if they have that over there. And I could be wrong interpreting the law for what it is here or what it's called. But basically he was seeing a girl and she tries to go to the next level, do more things. He doesn't want to do it because obviously she's really young. They get caught by her father and she accuses him of basically pushing her to do something she didn't want to do, when very clearly that was not the case. And he gets in trouble. And since that moment, it's kind of like stuck with him that he doesn't want to mess with someone younger because it almost got him in serious trouble. And his whole family had to basically take the fall, even though, it was revealed that he was in the right. He didn't do anything wrong, just to save everyone's face. And what's fucked up is that they go to his family home, they go to a carnival, and this bitch has the audacity to go up to him and say hi. And be like, long time no see. Get the fuck out. And in this trip, it's sad because June like confesses and is like, I'm into you. And he makes it very clear. Like he says that he doesn't think he can see someone like that. And then they fight. And then they stop talking. And then Sorn realizes his true feelings and wants to get together. And then the craziest fucking thing in the whole show happens, Lilia. He gets a Sharpie beard. There's no budget for this fucking show. Okay, I gotta show you the Sharpie beard. Oh my god, to me it looks like it was made with Sharpie. Hold on, Sorn, my stubborn. Oh my god, beard is like the third search. Look, I gotta show you this. Hold on. Oh my god, look at that. It looks like someone drew it with a Sharpie. And I want to point out, it was gone the very next scene. To show that he was disheveled and like sad, because in the entire show he also has his hair up in a ponytail. In this scene he doesn't. It's like he hasn't been taking care of himself because June left him because he's mad, but then his friends encourage him to like do better so they can get him back, so he shaves it off in the very next scene. And it's funny because in the special episode they do bring it up because June is like you're not gonna grow a beard again, are you? Because that like please don't. We don't have the budget for another Sharpie. So they do get back together. It's, the whole, like, they talk it out. He admits his feelings. Turns out homeboy might have had feelings for him for, like, a while, like, before the whole scene in the beginning, first episode. And it's blah, 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 blah. And then we deal with the second couple finally having their spat, and then everyone gets together. I will say the funniest thing about that last episode, one that it was unnecessarily too long. So the interns graduate from their internship, and it's so happy, whatever. Sorn and June have a moment in the staircase because that damn staircase. And then they meet up with Champ and Ty, and the tops are both wearing black and the bottoms are both wearing white. But my favorite thing is that on iQIYI, one of the comments was like, oh, the husbands are wearing black and then the wives are wearing white. And I'm like, I guess. Because then Champ and Ty get engaged. They finally admit their feelings or confirm that, yes, we're dating. And then they get engaged. And I'm like, this show was too much. It was a roller coaster. I have to read the synopsis for the special episode. And then this show is 2 hours long because 2 episodes. I'm not going to go in depth because in all honesty, as I was watching them, I was like, I can't do this. So I'm going to be really quick with the synopsis. I also want to point out the original series came out April 20th, 2025, and the last episode ended July 6th, 2025. The special episode was a 2-week thing. The first one coming out on the 21st of September, the second one the 28th. I just want to bring that up so that I want to put this like a 2 months difference in release dates because of like how far in advance we go on the start. Because it's like it's continuation and ending conclusion. So the special episode synopsis is June has just started his career at RT Design, which is where they were working before interning, while secretly dating Sorn. When Sorn has to travel to Japan for work, June is left alone and begins doing product reviews online, quickly gaining recognition. However, a brand owner persistently tries to flirt with him. June is then teased by his friends for not paying enough attention to Sorn. This prompts him to start showing love more and confess his fear of being taken for granted. In response, Sorn takes June on a seaside trip. I want to point out that was literally the first 2 sentences was synopsis for the first episode, and the last 2 lines were for the second episode. That could have been done better, my drama list. So just to like really quickly go through the first. So the first episode is basically they're working in the same company. No one in the company knows they're dating. And Sorn goes on a business trip. These episodes were really mostly have more sex scenes in it because they have like 2 really crazy sex scenes. And as it says, June starts reviewing products online, and this like brand owner starts like stalking him, being really creepy. And he's trying not to get, he's trying to handle it himself, even though Sorn like takes care of it at the end. So it's kind of like showing them their domestic life. Most of the characters aren't in the first episode. We kind of get like a recap of what's going on. Like we find out the cheater from the series finally broke up with his girlfriend, tried getting with the guy that he was messing around with in the office, and they didn't last. The brothers, the friends who they were close with, Champ and Ty, they leave abroad for their honeymoon. I want to point out it was just so they wouldn't have to be in the special episodes because I don't think they had anything that they could do with them. Ty's brother is in both episodes and doesn't get a partner at all. And the episode literally ends with like Sorn being like, I knew you wouldn't cheat on me. I know you rejected him and that he's just being annoying. I know the perfect solution for us to get rid of him. And it's just having sex while this dude's on the phone. And here's them doing it so that he'll stop bothering him. It works. And then the second episode is kind of like, in all honesty, we didn't really need 2 episodes. This episode could have been 40 minutes long, not a super long, just been really quick fluff. Wasn't necessary, but whatever. The second episode, they go on a beach trip. So turns out one of their friends, Sorn had paid them to like follow June around to keep an eye on him while he was away. It's like getting close to their anniversary or whatever, and June is feeling like maybe he's not doing enough for Sorn. I think that might have been part of the plot of the first episode. I can't remember. And so they go on this like beach vacation. There's literally a scene where they get into the car and Sorn goes to the bathroom. Homeboy connected. I don't understand how their phones and cars work because their Bluetooth must be amazing because somehow the phone kept connecting to the car radio, and the porno that he was watching in the bathroom started playing on the speakers. But that's besides the point. So they go to the beach, and suddenly Penny and the other one is there because they're on vacation too. And it turns out Penny saw Sorn, but they don't like June hears this, that Sorn was seen buying a ring with someone. He proposes. He basically proposes to June. That's the end of the whole series. And it's really cute fluff. They get together. He, for a second, thinks Sorn is cheating on him. Turns out he's not. It turns out he was just asking their friends' boyfriends advice for a ring because this dude family owns like a jewelry business. This whole episode, I want to point out, was just a way to introduce the actor who's going to be playing Boat's brother in the next series that they're doing together, and making it funny enough. He plays a friend of Sorn of Boat's character's brother in this series, and he's playing his brother in the next one. That sounded so confusing, but whatever. So that's basically the plot. Again, it was an hour and 10 minutes. It didn't need to be. They really just needed fluff in between before the sex scenes. This sucks because I like this show, but it had like a lot, way too much going on. I just could not get into it too often. I was like, it needed some work. I will say I am excited for their next show. I think, in my opinion, Boat and O are really good actors, and considering the plot and what they had to work with here, it kind of gets the show of like, it's never the actors, it's more the writing. Because you can only do so much with the type of writing that you're doing. And I think they did really well with what they had. Because I do like their characters. There's just like very clearly a lot of flaws. And it could have been better, but again, it's still a good show. Rating time? So for my rating, I'm going to give this show a 6 out of 10. It's still one of my favorites, but it could have been a lot better. Should have been a lot better. And it could have been a lot shorter. 14 hours is too much. So for Song of the Week, I thought long and hard on it. Get it? Long, hard. Because there's a lot of sex in the show. Lily is never going to watch it. I'm picking Positions by Ariana Grande. I just feel like it fits so well considering those two do many different positions. It also be like edited really great. I think it's gonna be really good. I feel like that's the perfect song about those two. It just fits perfectly. I love it. I love my girly pop songs. I love Ariana Grande. We don't pick her enough. This is our oh my god, this is our third Ariana Grande. Our fourth one.
We don't pick her enough.
I forgot that we picked her twice for Wicked. She's in the lead. Second place is Sabrina Carpenter. Wicked doesn't count, but yes. So Positions by Ariana Grande is this week's Song of the Week for our lovely show. And yeah, we're going to end it here before I give Lilia more trauma and then she runs out screaming her head off because of all this. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. All right, guys, that's it for this entry. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts. On Twitter, you can find us at FG Diaries Pod. On Tumblr, TikTok, and Instagram, you'll find us at FG Diaries Podcast. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hope you all have a wonderful fangirly day.